Welcome back to Investing Talk Podcast, everybody. We're going to be looking at MINISO Group, a Chinese variety retailer listed on the New York Stock Exchange under the ticker symbol MNSO.
Got it.
And they're kind of like that trendy spot, for affordable home goods, electronics, beauty products,
Right.
stationery, you name it.
Yeah, what's really fascinating to me is that MINISO is seeing all this success, even with shoppers, tightening their budgets these days.
Yeah.
And the retail sector is,
Right.
facing some headwinds for sure.
Definitely.
It's like they found the sweet spot, they're right in between affordability and trendiness, and it's working.
Yeah, it's a really an interesting case study for sure in how retail can be resilient. But the big question is, does this translate into a good investment opportunity in 2025?
Yeah, that's the question, isn't it?
That is the question.
So let's maybe start with where MINISO stands right now as of January 23rd, 2025.
Okay.
So the stock is currently priced at $23.33 a share. It dipped a little bit, 2.43% from the day before. But if you look back over the past 3 months, really impressive surge, 22%.
Wow.
So, a little volatility in the short term, but some pretty strong indicators
Yeah.
that there's growth potential here.
So a little bit of a roller coaster, but overall.
Positive.
Exactly.
Now, what about the company's financials? Are they actually making money?
Yeah, so if we take a look at their earnings report for the quarter ending September 30th, 2024.
Okay.
Really compelling story here. Revenue jumped a pretty impressive 22.8%
Wow.
year over year and hit $1.75 billion.
All right.
But even more impressive, I think, is the gross profit that jumped by 34.1%.
That's huge.
Huge, yeah.
Yeah.
Resulting in a really healthy gross margin of 44.1%.
Okay.
And that's a big jump from the 40.4% they reported in the same period back in 2023.
Those are some really impressive numbers for sure. So it seems like they're not just growing, but they're growing and they're making money. Exactly. And you can see this positive trend also reflected in their operating profit, up 14.3%,
Okay.
which, shows they're managing costs well, the operations run smoothly.
Yeah.
But we do have to, look at the whole picture, and some analysts are predicting a potential slowdown in earnings growth moving forward.
Okay, so that's a good point.
Uh-huh.
Is that a sign of trouble, or is it just them kind of adjusting after such rapid growth?
Right. And that's, the million-dollar question there. And I think to really dig into that, we got to look at the bigger picture with consumers, what's going on.
Okay.
So Deloitte forecasts a 3.1% increase in overall consumer spending in 2025. But what we're seeing is a pretty clear shift towards value-driven decisions.
Right.
So, shoppers are getting more and more picky. They want quality, they want style, but they don't want to break the bank.
Of course, yeah.
And that's where MINISO's strategy is really shining.
Yeah.
They've managed to capture this trend perfectly by offering those trendy and affordable products.
Yeah, I mean, it's like they figured out exactly how to appeal to today's consumer.
Yeah, exactly. And this focus on value,
Yeah.
It's what's making them so resilient in this retail environment.
Mm-hmm.
They're not just banking on brand loyalty.
Right.
It's about this combination of design affordability and accessibility.
Yeah, and I wonder how much of their success can be attributed to that strategy
Right.
of aligning themselves with what the customer wants. It's not just about selling, it's about understanding.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think you hit the nail on the head there. And this understanding, it even extends to how they're using technology, which is becoming super crucial in retail.
So they're not just riding the wave value, they're actively shaping their future with technology.
Exactly.
That's impressive.
Yeah, and they've been really proactive in leveraging AI and digital strategies to make their operations better.
That's awesome. Can you give us some specific examples of how they're using technology to their advantage?
Yeah, so they've implemented some really sophisticated inventory management systems, all powered by AI. So what this lets them do is predict demand trends, optimize stock levels, and minimize waste, which ultimately makes them more efficient and more profitable.
That's such a smart move.
Yeah.
Especially in the fast-paced world of retail. You got to stay ahead
Right.
of the game.
Absolutely.
Are there any other ways that they're using technology to kind of improve their business?
Yeah, so they're also leveraging data analytics and personalized marketing techniques to connect with customers on a deeper level.
Okay.
So by understanding individual preferences and shopping habits, they can tailor recommendations, promotions, make the whole shopping experience more engaging and more relevant.
It's all about personalization and making the customer's experience seamless.
Right.
That's what sets companies apart these days.
It really does.
It seems like they're doing everything right to stay ahead of the game.
Yeah. They're definitely making the right moves to set themselves up for long-term success. And speaking of strategic moves, they recently made a pretty bold decision that's making people take notice.
Oh, this sounds interesting. Fill us in what's going on.
So they've gotten approval to acquire shares in Yonghui Superstores, which is a big Chinese grocery chain.
Hold on. MINISO's getting into groceries. That's a huge change. What's the thought process behind that?
So it's a pretty brilliant move to diversify their portfolio and tap into a market that's massive and growing.
Okay.
The grocery sector have huge potential for growth, and by bringing it into their current model, they can create a really unique and compelling shopping experience.
Yeah, I can see the synergy. Someone walks into MINISO to buy some cute home decor, and they walk out with their groceries, too.
Exactly.
It's a one-stop shop.
Yeah, they're trying to capture a bigger piece of the consumer spending pie and build a loyal customer base by meeting more of their needs. This acquisition opens up so many possibilities for cross-selling and expanding their brand.
So it's a bold move, but it shows that they're ambitious and that they're willing to adapt. I don't know how the market's changing. It'll be interesting to see how this all plays out long term.
It will.
But getting into a new sector like groceries has got to come with some risks.
Of course, every strategic decision has its inherent risks, and the grocery market is known for being really competitive.
Right.
are thin, so MINISO is going to have to leverage its strength, the design, the affordability to carve out a space for itself and stand out from the crowd.
They're going to have to find a way to be unique and give customers something they can't get anywhere else.
Exactly.
It's a big gamble, but if they play it right, the rewards could be huge.
Absolutely. It's a calculated risk with a potential to completely change their future.
Right.
And it shows how innovative they are and how committed they are to growth and expansion.
So we've got a company that's financially solid, strategically savvy, not afraid to make big moves.
Right.
But what about their stock?
Right.
What's the current trading situation looking like?
Okay, so let's dive into the technical analysis of MNSO. Look at some key indicators.
Okay. As we mentioned, the stock is currently trading at 23.33.
Right.
And today it's been moving between 23.01 and 23.75.
Okay, so we're seeing some movement within that range. What about the trading volume? Anything interesting there?
The volume today is significantly lower than average, which could be a sign of caution in the market. It might mean that investors are waiting to see how this acquisition plays out, or, it could just be a quiet day overall.
Right, so kind of a wait-and-see approach. Makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, now let's talk about those all-important moving averages. What are they telling us?
Okay, so both the 50-day and 200-day simple moving averages are currently below the stock's current price, which generally is seen as a bullish signal.
Okay.
It suggests that the stock's been trending upwards over time.
All right, so positive sign from the moving averages. But what about the RSI? Is it giving us any insights into the momentum?
So the RSI is hovering around 54.93, which puts it in neutral territory.
Okay.
So it's not overbought or oversold.
Which means it could move either way in the short term.
So the RSI isn't really giving us a clear buy or sell signal, more of a neutral stance.
Right.
Are there any other technical indicators that we should be looking at?
Yeah, so if you look at the MCD, the moving average convergence divergence, it's currently shown positive values, which often points to bullish momentum.
Okay.
And then looking at the Bollinger Bands, the current price is getting close to the lower band. So this could signal a rebound, if more buyers come into the market.
So the technical analysis is painting a bit of a mixed picture.
Yeah.
Some indicators looking bullish while others are neutral.
Exactly.
Seems like the stock could go either way.
Yeah, and I think it's important to remember that, technical indicators alone don't give us a definitive answer.
Right.
It's crucial to consider the company's financials, their strategic initiatives, and what's happening in the market overall.
It's never a simple yes or no when it comes to investing.
Absolutely no.
There are always multiple factors to consider.
Yeah, you gotta look at the whole picture.
So let's kind of recap what we've learned about MINISO.
Okay.
On the plus side, we've got a company with strong financials. They're smart about navigating the retail world. And they're not afraid to make those big moves, like expand it into groceries.
Right, and they're embracing technology
Yeah.
to optimize their operations, make the customer experience better.
Which sets them up for future growth.
Exactly.
But we also got to be realistic about the potential slowdown in earnings growth.
Right.
And the risks that come with their acquisition. The grocery market is super competitive,
Very.
and we don't know for sure how well they'll do or if they'll gain market share.
Yeah, and the technical indicators, they offer some positive signs, but they also suggest there could be some short-term volatility.
So it's complicated,
Yeah.
both opportunities and challenges. Investors really need to do their own research, weigh the pros and cons before making any decisions.
Absolutely. Thorough research and understanding your risk tolerance is key.
For sure. So at the end of the day, is MNSO a buy, a hold, or a pass? What do you think?
Well, as we've been talking about, it's not that simple.
Right.
MINISO has a lot of potential, but there are definitely things to think about.
Yeah.
I really think it depends on what an individual investor is looking for and how much risk they're comfortable with.
Right. There's no one-size-fits-all answer when it comes to investing.
Exactly.
You got to find the opportunities that fit your own financial plan. But I am curious about something we talked about earlier, their move into the grocery business.
Right.
How big of an impact do you think that could have on their future growth and profits?
I think it's a game changer. Honestly, the grocery market is huge, and if MINISO can figure out how to make it work with what they're already doing, they could see some serious growth. Just imagine how much their revenue could increase.
Yeah.
How much more diverse their products would be, and how much stronger their connection would be with customers.
It's a bold move that could really pay off if they do it right.
Yeah.
But it's also a tough market.
For sure.
How do you think they'll measure up against those big supermarket chains that are already out there?
Well, I think what's going to set them apart is their ability to create a really special shopping experience. They're already great at making their stores look good and be fun to shop in.
Right.
So just imagine that same kind of style and attention to detail, but in a grocery store.
So like a grocery store that's not just a place to buy food,
Exactly.
but it's also like stylish and, Instagram worthy.
Right. It's about appealing to all the senses and making it more than just buying groceries.
So basically they're going to elevate the grocery shopping experience.
Exactly. MINISO really understands what makes shoppers tick, and I think they'll use that same knowledge in the grocery business.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how they use their brand and their current customers to get people to come to their grocery stores. Do you think they'll mainly focus on the people who already shop at MINISO?
Right.
Or try to bring in a whole new crowd?
I think they'll probably do both.
Okay.
They'll definitely try to get their current customers to check out their groceries.
Right.
But they'll also have to attract new shoppers if they want to really make a dent in the grocery market.
So it's like finding that balance between keeping the people they already have happy and bringing new people in.
Right.
That's a tricky thing to do.
Yeah.
But I think they've got the skills to make it work.
I agree. They've got a good track record of understanding trends and what consumers want. They've always been able to adapt and change to stay ahead of the game. So I'm confident they can handle this new venture.
It sounds like MINISO is all about innovation and pushing boundaries.
Yeah.
They're not content with just doing the same old thing. They're always looking for new ways to grow and expand.
Right.
And as an investor, that's something I find really appealing.
Yeah, it definitely shows they're a dynamic company that's thinking ahead. They're not afraid to take risks and try new things, and that's often what leads to long-term success.
And speaking of long-term success, let's bring it back to the investment side of things.
Okay.
What are the main takeaways you'd give our listeners who are thinking about adding MNSO to their portfolios?
Well, I'd say that MINISO is a really interesting investment opportunity. They have strong financials, they're making smart moves to grow, and they have a history of innovation.
Yeah.
But you also have to be aware of the potential risks with their move into groceries.
Right.
And the fact that the retail industry can be pretty unpredictable.
So it's all about weighing the possible rewards against the risks.
Exactly.
No investment is ever completely certain.
That's for sure.
But MINISO is definitely a company to keep an eye on.
Absolutely. They're a major player in the retail world, and it'll be exciting to see what they do next.
All right. Well, I think we've covered a lot today.
Yeah, we have.
We've talked about MINISO's financials, their strategies,
Yeah.
and even got into some technical analysis. Hopefully our listeners feel like they have a good understanding of the company now and can make smart investment decisions.
It's been great sharing my thoughts on this company. I always enjoy these conversations.
And we always appreciate your insights.
Thank you.
Now, before we go, I want to remind our listeners to subscribe to Investing Talk Podcast
Yes.
for more deep dives into the companies that are shaping our world. And don't forget to share this episode with your fellow investors and leave us a comment.
Right?
Let us know what you think about MINISO's future prospects.
Yeah, we love hearing from you.
Until next time, happy investing.
We love hearing from you guys and getting your thoughts on these investment opportunities.
Absolutely. Your insights are always welcome. So if you've got any thoughts on MINISO or any other companies you'd like us to cover, let us know.
Yeah, we're always looking for new and exciting investment stories to share.
Well, that about wraps up this episode of Invest and Talk podcast. Thanks for joining us for this look at MINISO.
Until next time, happy investing, everyone.